difference between manual and automation testing.
And
Why are you using in automation testing?
okay.
And
And
Go
again, the
ahead. Go
pros
ahead.
and cons.
Sorry, Uma, can you repeat it?
Pros and cons.
Okay. And
The
anything else?
cost cutting.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. How about others? Yeah. How about others, Iqbal?
Some graph that represents how much efforts for automation and how much efforts for manual, and how better is automation compared to manual.
Yeah, a small correction in this, Kavya. It is not about judging who is better between the two. As a team, how are you bringing a show? Always remember this thing.
Yeah.
5
Okay?
points that we need to be focused on automation testing.
Hmm. Okay.
Yes. We should not mess the scripts, avoiding the complex logic while using automation.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do automation like 100%,
Mm-hmm.
and we should know the basics for doing automation testing,
Which basics you need to know?
like regression. What is regression testing? Smoke testing, sanity testing,
Different testing.
and
You need to know concepts of manual testing. Basic concepts of manual.
yeah. And we should. It's like we developed as a. We write a code for the. We developed it as a movie. The
Hmm.
last point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's more into Selenium, as Selenium is more of test development process. So, in order to ensure that you just on a single play button, the script will keep on running. You got my point. Just on single play
Yes.
button, the script keeps on running. In order to achieve that kind of work, a lot of back behind the scenes is required to code, to debug, to understand what is what and all the stuff. Clear, Iqbal?
Yes.
That is compared with a movie, because pre-production takes a lot of time. The script work, everything those takes a lot of time. The shooting, everything. After doing that, on a we go to the theater and we watch the movie. Similarly, our customers or the business owners, what they do is they simply come and sit and they judge the show, like as if they'll be giving reviews, as if they'll be working. These kind of things happen. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, that was the reason why I compared with it. Okay. Don't say in interviews that it's like a movie.
No. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So, can you tell me what are the different automation tools that you have seen in the market? Different tools used for automation.
Selenium and Cypress,
Okay.
Cucumber.
One. Okay. Cypress. Cucumber is not a tool; it's a framework. Okay. Next. What else? Come on. You must have a lot of tools in the market, right, for automation.
Rest assured for API.
Rest assured is API library. That is not a tool. Come on. Go ahead. Go ahead. Shoot out. Selenium, Cypress. What else?
Test Studio.
SQL Studio. Some people say test cafe.
Catalan Studio.
Yes, the Catalan Studio is more of editor. You can also use it both ways. Come on, yeah, that's right. You can use Catalan also. Next, QTP, RPA, Automation Anywhere. These are the most popular tools that are used, right? Clear?
Clear. But why
So
Selenium is so famous in the market?
I was just about to drag this topic. You'll get to know.
Okay.
Okay. So QTP is one of the oldest tools. Just remember this point. So like some people will ask you this kind of questions. QTP is one of the oldest tools in the market, and it is not open source. The license cost is approx 5 to 10L per user. Okay.
Okay.
Now, will you use QTP now?
No.
One advantage, I would like to say one advantage of QTP is that it works well for legacy as well as for desktop based applications. Clear?
Clear.
Is there any doubt? Uma, Kavya, Hare Krishna, Hare Priya, Lata.
No.
So QTP is ruled out. I can't offer that much.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
As someone, I think Haripriya said like it's Cucumber, so you said like it's a framework. So what's the difference between a tool and a framework? Can you please tell us?
Tool is something which is making your life easier. Framework is something which is part of your coding structure.
Okay.
It's more of a plugin. It's more of a plugin, not a tool. Okay?
By using that, we're gonna write test cases.
Yeah, you'll get to know. Let's go through the basics of Selenium and Java. Then I'll use something with Selenium and integrate it, and I'll show you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go one step ahead. Uma. Nothing. We all ensure that you learn everything and you go. Okay. RPA. Have you heard the term that robotic process or robot process automation?
Is it like Python framework?
RPA?
Yeah, robot framework.
No.
I have heard that. Yeah.
No. There's completely a tool where the end user has to align with the requirement, align with the tool. End user has to align with the tool. End user has to have end user or the application should be in sync with it. That means what the problem with RPA is that whatever application or whatever the way that you want to use, you cannot be flexible with RPA. The other problem is the tool is not so flexible. That means only some applications will work. Mostly this RPA is mainly used for packaged applications or enterprise applications. Enterprise-based applications. Not all the tools or applications are fit for RPA because there's some certain process when you're working with RPA. It's like it is basically more of a record and playback tool. But what happens if you want to modify something, it should be modified within its lines. You cannot add your own ideas or own innovations to that RPA tool. Clear? If you have to modify something, you have to contact the support team. Again, you have to get a result from the support team. Clear?
Clear.
Okay.
Again, RPA is also paid. RPA is also a paid tool, which is too costly for a medium or small scale companies. Okay, maybe MNCs can afford it. I'm not saying it, but still, it's too costly. We have to see a tool that is generic enough for all scale companies, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, where we have automation anywhere is also same like RPA. Okay. Behavior differs, but the concept remains the same. It's paid and it's not so flexible again. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have covered QTP, RPA, Automation Anywhere. All are ruled out. And I forgot one more tool. What is the one more tool I forgot? Could anyone take a guess? You have popularly heard it in your JDs. A lot number. Just give a try.
APM?
APM.
APM is part of Selenium family. Okay.
Okay.
SOA test?
It's Tosca. Have you heard the word Tosca in any of the resumes?
Tosca? No.
Tosca is also one of the tools.
Okay.
Recent is Tosca.
Tosca has been launched like for the past 4 years. It's in the market. Where it has a trial version for 30 days, and later you have to pay for it. Okay. Again, it's a pay tool. And you can automate both web and desktop-based applications with Tosca. Clear? Recently, they are also coming up with a solution for mobile-based applications automation. Clear?
Yeah.
I mean, when you see from organization perspective, some people are against using the paid ones, right?
Yes.
So 4 tools are ruled out. And now we have Test Case Studio. Test Case Studio is more of a recording tool rather than a scripting tool. That means you record and playback most of the time. And small changes you can do in the recorded script. Okay?
Okay.
And it is open source. Since it is new in the market, we are bound for more issues. So if a tool is now new in the market, in order to find the stability or feet in the market, it will take some time. Right? We need to fix the bugs or something like that. Yes or no?
Just like maintenance?
Yeah, there are some. I mean, it's just like you. If a new iPhone is launched, you will not buy it immediately, right? Let's see the reviews. Let's see. Then only you like that.
Okay.
Escape, I'm not so sure. There's a tool they use it more used in combination with Typescript and JavaScript mostly. I mean, there's a tool, but I'm not so sure. I'll just study about this test and let you know. Now we are left with 3 tools. This Selenium, Cypress, Catalan Studio, these are the 3 tools that offer the flexibility to script. Okay? Okay?
Yeah.
So out of this, why Selenium is popular? Why not the Cypress and Catalan Studio? Cypress supports only to write the code in JavaScript. Okay? Hope everyone understands JS as JavaScript, right?
Right.
Supports only JS, applicable for Chrome, Firefox. Need to use VS Code as the editor. Visual Studio. Okay?
Yeah.
Need to use Visual Studio for this. Is it clear? Because if you are giving your end user customer to write the code in a single language, so definitely it is a loss, right, for them. Like sometimes it's a loss, right, because not all the users are comfortable in JavaScript. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is the reason Cypress is open source. Again, Cypress is open source, but this is the main drawback why it is lagging behind Selenium. Clear?
Clear.
Yeah.
So is everyone clear with it? Haripriya, Hare Krishna, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are left with Catalan Studio and this. So Catalan Studio basically it's one of the most recent tools that has come in the market. So basically these days what they're doing is they're not using Catalan Studio alone. They're trying to combine Selenium with Catalan Studio. That means what? Previously it was used as a more of a recording tool, more of a coding tool. It has its own set of languages. It has its own set of commands that you need to write. So basically what happens is the recent times they are integrating Selenium with Catalan Studio. These days instead of using it as an automation tool, they are using it like a code editor. In the recent times, in some organizations I've seen, they are using it more as a code editor style. Like Eclipse is editor tool, IntelliJ is a code editor. Like that, Catalan Studio, they're trying to make it as a code editor tool here. Okay.
Okay.
So Catalan itself is not so strong enough to handle things. When you combine with Selenium, it's strong. So you are clear of the other tools, except Test Cafe. You are clear of other tools that we have discussed.
Yeah.
So basically, Selenium advantages and all we will discuss now. Why Selenium is so famous in the market. First thing is open source. Second thing is flexibility. Third thing is can write the code in Java, JS, C#, TypeScript, Python, Ruby, etc. I mean, clear? Clear, everyone?
Clear.
Clear.
Is compatible with almost all the browsers, such as Chrome, Edge. Since Internet Explorer is no more in use, we are given the expiry date for Internet Explorer. We are not using Internet Explorer. Firefox, Opera, Safari. Clear?
Yes, Rahul.
Clear, everyone?
Yes,
Yeah.
clear.
Yes.
So it's compatible with almost all the browsers. You can write the code in Java, JavaScript, and Python. Easy to less hardware usage. Less hardware is consumed. That means it's one of the most easiest tool. It's not like the tool size is in GBs or something. It's hardly in MBs. The Selenium tool size. Less hardware is consumed. Open source, flexibility. You can write the code compatible with all the browsers. Supports cross-browser testing. What do you mean by cross-browser testing? Can anyone say?
We can run a multiple browser at a time. Two browser at the same time.
Two browser at a same time. Okay. How about you, Ma?
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, whatever the point 4 you said, I think it comes. The cross-browser testing, I feel it's testing with all the browsers. I mean, testing in all the browsers.
Okay. So, friend Iqbal said multiple browsers. You said in different genres.
I feel code can be used for different browsers. Only we have to change the which browser to
Yes.
access and
Yeah. Executing the same script in different browsers. Why this cross-browser testing is so important? Because the same application cannot behave the same way, right? In Firefox, suppose if your company has an application, if they ask you to test in all the browsers, In Chrome, it may work fine, but in Firefox, it may not work fine, right?
Yeah. So we need to check in each and every browser.
Yeah, so we have to check in different browsers and report the issues to the dev team if it is really an issue.
Yeah.
So, any doubts? Anything so far?
No.
Supports parallel testing. So, what Iqbal said about the point called running test cases in multiple browsers, that is called as parallel testing. Suppose what we do in general manual testing scenario, if there are 100 test cases, we execute one case after the other. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
So what happens in parallel testing means suppose you have 100 cases and you want to execute 8 test cases simultaneously. So what I can do, Selenium gives this opportunity or flexibility to use parallel testing. So if I make it as true, then it's suppose parallel testing, like on how many number of browsers you want to execute, you can execute. Like just imagine if 8 test cases get executed simultaneously, how much time does it get reduced? A lot, right?
Yeah.
In almost like 12 iterations, you'll finish your test cases execution. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes.
दिल की खता भी है क्या मुझको गिला भी है क्या इस दिल लगी के सिवा दिल ने किया भी है दिल की खता भी है क्या
There is all the points.
Yeah.
Last but not the least, easy to set up. Clear everyone?
Yes.
So these are the main advantages of Selenium. I mean, no automation tool is offering these many features, right? For them.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a saying in English. All remember, every coin has two sides. Remember?
Yeah.
So since you have seen the pros of Selenium, what are the cons of Selenium? No dedicated support team to resolve if you have any issues. Clear?
Yeah.
Clear.
Why no dedicated support team? Because it's open source tool. For open source tool, do we have any dedicated support team? Does any company invest their time on the support team? No, right?
They don't invest.
Sorry, Hari Krishna, go ahead. Hari,
Rahul.
you are saying something?
No.
Railway station. If you face any problems, then you have to go to the forums of Selenium to understand and resolve the issues. Okay? Does not have a default reporting tool. Okay?
Okay. I mean, so default means like they'll be using so many. It depends on the company, right?
Sorry?
Default reporting tool, is it like default reporting tool? So it depends on the company. Whatever they use, so they can proceed with that Selenium, right?
Yeah, basically, no matter whatever reporting tool you want to use, you can use once you go into the organization. But what happens is, a tool should have its own reporting tool, right? By default, some kind of a reporting tool you need, right, to evaluate how the things are going on. Yes or no?
Yes. For example, can you tell me
For
like an
example, for example, if you do, I mean, if you do some development or something, obviously logs will not be generated, right? Obviously, you'll have the console logs coming right onto the system. Yes or no?
okay.
You have the basic Java knowledge, right? So basically, basic
Yeah.
idea of a coding program,
Yeah.
right? If there is an
Yeah.
issue, it is coming onto the console. What is the part of the programming language? It only throws the issue onto the console, but it will not log it into a notepad file, or it will not log it in a reporting format, right? To the
Yeah. Yeah.
logs.
That's true.
So by default, what is it? It doesn't have any reporting mechanism. That doesn't mean the tool is really bad, right? It doesn't have a reporting mechanism. That is the drawback with the tool. We have to ensure that we have to make sure that we have a reporting or logging mechanism for it.
Okay. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Does not support for captcha testing as well as for image processing. Like if you want to automate a captcha or if you want to read a random image text, then it is not possible via Selenium.
Support.
Sorry, Uma.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling. It won't support the caption.
Does not support the automation of audio and video. Audio and video testing can be done only when you listen, right? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Fingerprints. Clear?
Clear.
Yeah.
Only applicable for web-based applications.
Yes.
Selenium only applicable for web-based applications. If you want to automate mobile, then we need to use Appium, which is a derived tool from Selenium family. Not a direct tool, but a derived tool from Selenium family. Okay? Okay, everyone? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to, I mean, default recording mechanism, audio, video, dedicated supporting. Well, let's go to the slide better. Okay. Cannot be integrated with test management tools like Jira, HPALM, etc. Clear?
Yeah.
Last but not the least, you need to know a programming language to make better use of the tool. That is a drawback, you can say, because not all people are flexible enough to learn the coding, right? But if you really learn the coding part while automation, it's really a good help for you in the future times. Okay?
Yeah.
Clear? Iqbal, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Any doubts, anything so far?
No.
Now we understood what are the pros and cons of Selenium, and even though there are this many cons, why they are using Selenium.
These all can be done by using some other third-party tools. That's why I think Selenium
Yes,
is
you need to
famous.
integrate with third-party tools and you have to do it.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
So these are the pros and cons of Selenium. So our next topic. So have you heard the concept called the software development lifecycle, Sdlc?
Yes.
Yes.
What is it all about?
It's like what's the process going on in software development, step-by-step procedure.
And can you be more clear?
Like how it is getting from the clients, I mean like from the customers. So they give, so whatever he wants, he'll give some details about that. So from that, we need to gather we need to analyze the things, design, development, everything comes in one cycle. So that's why it's very important to know every software. Who are in the software field, they should know what's going on and what we should deliver to them.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Iqbal?
In from client to the deployment, we need to uh, go through the step-by-step process in this SDLC. Like we should gather the requirement for the client and we should analyze it and make a SRS document, and we should take approval from the client, and we to start a designing of the in which framework and how should we develop the application, and after testing, and we should to deploy the application in a client side server.
Okay. Okay.
It's just like following the steps to fulfill the customer needs.
Shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Okay.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees.
Turn around and
Project
bounce.
organization is a phase where they really bid for the project, where they have a word with the customer that these are the features that we are offering to the project and these are the things that we want to do and all the stuff. So this is the kickoff or initiation. It's an intro or a grooming session. Intro phase of the project. During the requirements gathering session, we'll be gathering all the requirements from the product, and when gather all the requirements and document it in a form of SRS and SOWs, so that we get the agreement between the customers and the software organization in the form of SOW, and in the form of SRS documents that will be shared to the internal teams to understand the requirement of what is all happening. So in analysis phase, they do the difference between what are the products or the features that we have versus what are the features that the customer is expecting. If the delta is more, then we need to spend more time on this delta requirement. If the delta is less, then they will finish the work fastly. Okay, it is always good to have a very stabilized base product for your organization, so that whenever the customer comes up with a new requirement or new changes, it's easy to do it. Clear?
Yeah. I mean, with this analysis, we can add some more things and then
With this?
proceed further.
With this, what you can do, no?
I mean, by this analysis, if you want to add anything, I mean, into to improve. So in this session, I mean, in this phase, we can add, right?
Into the framework you're saying.
Like, I mean, in analysis phase,
Hmm.
can you please repeat me? What do we do in analysis phase?
In analysis phase, we generally differentiate the requirement, or if there is any new requirement coming out of this project, we see what is the how much time does it take, what kind of development activities are actually required here, and what kind of testing is actually needed here, and how do we integrate with the existing product.
Okay, okay, okay.
I mean, there are a lot of things that they do in analysis phase. Once
Oh,
all the analysis, math, and the calculations is done, then they go to design phase. In the designing phase, they'll build up the mock UI of the screen, mock UI, or they will design the wireframes, or design the architecture of the application or how it should be if they want to enhance the code, or they'll discuss about the hardware and software specifications which fits for this application, and we have to request the same accordingly to the customer to have this kind of software and hardware configuration. Okay.
okay,
The
okay.
development phase, the coding starts. The real coding starts from the developer side. So once the development is done, then actually there's a phase called as deployment between development and testing, where they deploy the code to the testing environment. So once they deploy the code to the testing environment, then the testing team tests the code and all the stuff. Once the testing team approves that build, then they go for deployment in the higher environments like SIT or UAT or something. Then we do a operational maintenance. What do you mean by operational maintenance? We always see whether the application no critical issues, leakage, no financial leakages, all the stuff. Again, if there is this is a cycle. Why this cycle means again if the customer comes up with a new change request, then he has to go through all these phases again and again, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So these are the things that are comes under software development lifecycle. So why are we discussing this point? What is the purpose? As I told you, for automation engineer, he needs to know the basics of SDLC, a minimum to understand what are the phases that the product undergoing, so that he can plan his journey of when he needs to start the automation scripts. If I am the person who is working for an organization during the software development, during the analysis phase only, I will decide what are the scripts that I actually need to develop, what are the scripts I did not develop, what are the scripts that are existing, and I have to change accordingly. So I'll make my analysis and my chat sheet under the analysis phase. When they come to the design phase, hardware software part, then I'll also plan my design, like if there are any enhancements are there to the framework changes, if I want to add more third-party plugins, or if I want to create more utilities, I can build it up here so that it is good for the project. And during the development phase, the role of automation in team will not be anything. Once they deploy it to testing environment, then the role of automation testing comes into picture. These days, organizations are working in such a way that the manual testing and automation testing is going hand in hand. Like if the manual testing is happening in ith sprint, then automation team will do it in the next sprint, the coding part. Always automation team will be one sprint behind the manual testing while during the coding, during the development of scripts. Okay.
Okay.
The current, yeah, Uma, go ahead.
I mean, as you said yesterday, but from the manual testers only we'll get the test cases, right? After they're giving to us, then we'll start testing. I mean, then we start scripting. I mean, automation script we will write, right?
Yeah, because in the first sprint they have another test cases, right? By the time they come to sprint 2, they'll have a defined set of cases for the particular sprint, right? So in sprint 2, what happens? They'll ask us to automate the sprint
1. Okay.
This is the current trend that is happening. These days, what is happening? Previously, what used to happen when the product goes live, then the automations used to start. Then they used to start scripting and all the stuff. But what is happening that because of that idea, the process, the whole agenda of automation, the whole motivation behind using automation is getting destroyed, because it will not take a minute or two to prepare a script, right? Sometimes it will take days, sometimes it will take months to create a perfect script. So what they have decided in the recent times, let manual and automation happen hand in hand. Let automation team be backlog for few sprints, so that they'll be ready with the code. And at one point of time, manual testing and automation testing will be on the same road, because at that point they'll listen the user stories, they'll understand the application, so they can sit with the manual team to understand more and they can automate fastly, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, that's true.
Because when the project is before going live, all your team members or from any kind of department will be very much helpful to you, because the product is not gone live. And if you help them, they'll be like, okay, fine, you'll be getting more knowledge and more stuff. After go live, people will not even sit with you that patiently.
Yeah.
So clear? I mean, is it clear, everyone?
Yeah.
Iqbal, Kavya.
Yes.
Clear.
Yeah.
So this is a point where you'll not see any kind of a Google article or something. This is based on the experience that we are seeing. Clear?
Clear.
So this is the concept of SDLC. So what do you understand by this SDLC concept? Software testing lifecycle.
We should first step by seeing this image, I understand again we need to do a requirement analysis here.
Mm-hmm.
We should plan the test plans, how we should do a testing. We should be planned after completing the requirement analysis process, like what need to be tested, what need to be skipped through automation or manual, like functional, non-functional testing, UI testing. Test after requirement analysis and test planning completion, we start writing a test cases for all the stories. Environment setup, like we should tester will set up the environment, like what software need to be and what framework we required for the testing purpose, and hardware also, what are the requirements for the hardware tools as well. After that, we start executing the tests manually or automation. After that, finally, if all things goes perfectly, we close the Sdlc cycle.
Okay. So how about others?
Yeah, it's like a subset and superset.
Subset and superset. Okay.
Yeah. In SDLC, in testing phase, this is again one phase. I mean, what the testers will do.
Okay.
From the developer, they get some requirements, right? So from there they do everything.
Okay.
Requirements, planning, test cases,
Okay.
execution.
So basically what happens in the test requirements analysis, the requirement analysis that you do during the development and the requirement analysis that you do in the testing side is altogether a different thing. Because in requirement analysis, we always need to sit with the business owners to understand the requirement, to understand the core functionality of the core logic, because sometimes there will be a lot of math that will be required for our product. So we need to understand the math and all the stuff. So requirement analysis, most of the times it will be happening parallel with development in the grooming session. You will not spend any separate time for it. So test planning. Test planning means how many resources do we need? What are the tasks? I mean, how many test cases? What are the test cases that we do? What are the action? How we need to ensure that more number of bugs are found in the local environments rather than in the UAT. All the stuff. What are the modules that we need to cover? What are the functionalities or snippets that we need to cover? And then the test case development, we develop the test cases as per the documents. Then afterwards, we go to the environment setup. Environment setup is basically like there will be a separate environment dedicated to testing team for in order to do the testing activities. Clear?
Yeah.
Though
Yes, clear.
in that in their dedicated environment, you have to do your test execution. Whatever test cases you have written, you have to do some test execution. And sometimes you need to do some random testing, which are away from your test cases, in order to ensure that application is working properly or not. If you give as per the test cases, then that is called as verifying your application. If you do some random testing and find some issues, that is called validating your application. Clear?
Yeah.
Test cycle closure is something like once your test cases are completed, then you can close them.
Okay.
Any doubts?
No.
No, Rahul.
So these are the first couple of questions that will be asked whenever you are attending any basic automation interview. What is SDLC? What is SDLC? And what are your views like when the automation team comes into picture? These are some basic questions will be asked in most of the interviews. Clear?
Yeah.
So coming to Selenium suite, what are the tools that is present under the Selenium family? Selenium Ide, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. So Selenium Ide is basically it's a Selenium Ide is Selenium Integration Development Editor environment. So basically, it is one of the more widely used. It is one of the record and playback tools. You can simply record and playback the script. Okay, it's just like a tape recorder where you can just record your voice. You can play and again for a number of times. Okay.
Okay.
Selenium RC. RC stands for Remote Control Server. So basically, what happens in order to avoid this record and play mechanism, the Selenium founders have invented a tool where we can write some code and the code will interact with the browser in a easier and faster way. Because if you have the coding thing in your picture, you can play around with the code as and when you require it. You can play around with the application at ease, right? Any doubts?
No.
How about others? Mr. Hari Priya, Hari Krishna, Kavya Iqbal.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes, clear, Rahul.
Mhm. So Selenium WebDriver is the current tool that we are using. Where Selenium WebDriver is the current tool that is offering the that is giving us the flexibility to write the code in multiple programming languages. Selenium RC is the tool that only allows us to write the code in JavaScript until 2018. Okay. Selenium
Okay.
Grid. We'll discuss more on each and every tool in the next session, that is tomorrow. Because if I start taking up one tool, it may exceed the time also.
Okay.
So the last point that we have is Selenium Grid. So Selenium Grid is a tool that is used for automating running your test cases in a distributed environment. What do you mean by distributed environment? So basically what you have under the similar network, my current laptop is my master and I have 5 virtual machines. Hope everyone knows what is a virtual machine, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So what happened? Now I have 100 test cases with me. So I can't execute all the 100 test cases in a single machine, right? I want to execute all the 100 test cases in different machines. I want to distribute my 100 test cases across the 5 virtual machines. So what you do with the help of Selenium Grid, you can achieve this kind of a concept. Clear?
Yeah.
Clear.
Here with all the, you just have the basic, you got the basic idea of what are the 4 different tools under the Selenium family.
One question. Selenium 4 is the latest version, right? Under the Selenium WebDriver.
Under the Selenium WebDriver, Selenium 4 is the latest. Kavya, is it clear?
Yes.
So anyone has any doubts with respect to previous topics or the current topic that you have, or you want to ask any questions with respect to automation, you can ask me. You have some time.
Yeah.
Up to here, it's clear for me.
Okay. So tomorrow, by the time you join the class, what I want everyone to do is go to search for Selenium Ide for Chrome. Okay. Once you click on Selenium Ide for Chrome, you will see the first link, right? Selenium Ide is the link. Yes or no?
Yes.
Click on this link. Already this extension is added in my system. That is what is called, I'm showing remove from Chrome. So you click on add to Chrome. Okay.
Okay.
Add this extension by tomorrow so that whatever I do tomorrow you will understand. Again, I'll tell this concept again. Like I'll show you right away. If I click on remove from Chrome, it will remove from my Chrome. Then we'll click on add to Chrome. So basically Selenium Ide is the extension, guys. It is not a tool, more of a tool. I can say it is more of an extension. Clear?
Mhm.
Clear.
Yeah.
Hmm? Clear everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, clear.
Any doubts?
No.
More of an extension tool. That is why Selenium Ide is so light. One of the most lightweight tools among Selenium family. Selenium family itself is a lightweight, but among them, Selenium Ide is the most lightest tool. That is hardly in KBs. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we regroup tomorrow for understanding more of Selenium Ide and Selenium RC and Selenium WebDriver and all the concepts?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So if we finish the concepts about Selenium family in detail, then tomorrow we'll go for JDK installation also and start the
Okay.
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 Cool. See you around.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.